Off, the crowd is on its feet. 200 laps, 500 miles here at Pocono. Let's get them started.
Green, green, green.
Here they go. 3, 4 wide, just like you said, Walt.
Yep, now so you're going to get through. You want to be down on the bottom, I think, going through one on the first lap. You certainly don't want to make it 3 wide, but everybody looks like they're behave themselves so far anyway, but you still got to get through 2 and 3 on the first lap.
Ricky Rudd gets the jump. He's the early leader. Oh, trouble! Steve Park is off into the infield. Another car involved. Over on his lid, it's Parkindale Jr. Terrible crash.
Man, Steve Park's car just turned dead left when he came off turn 2. Junior's running to see his teammate and see if he's okay.
And getting off into that wet grass wasn't going to do anything to slow those cars down. Caution is out. Ricky Rudd will lead the field back to the yellow. You can see Park moving inside the car, looking through the back glass. He's trying to get himself unwrapped around the roll bars to get out.
Yeah, he's definitely moving in there. That's a great sign.
The car hit that inside guardrail, which is a guardrail instead of a wall. And Rusty Wallace got a piece of it.
And we saw Rusty make it 3 wide going in turn 1, but as he entered turn 1, it looks like it slowed down and everything was under control.
Boy, you see that guardrail? They have flattened that guardrail inside that straightaway.
But once again, they talk about safer walls, and NASCAR and some folks at the University of Nebraska are working on making a softer wall, a safer wall. And what they're talking about is a wall like that that gives on impact rather than just sits there and makes the car and driver absorb all the energy.
Safety workers still there around the number 1 car. Of course, Steve has suffered 2 serious injuries back in March of '98 when he had that terrible crash at Atlanta that broke his leg and left him out for months, and then the crash at Darlington last Labor Day weekend in the Busch Series car, that strange crash when the steering wheel, it's suspected, came off in Steve's hands.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. still there.
And it's real easy, especially on the first lap coming out of 1. You know, you got cars 2 and 3 abreast, and if you slide up the racetrack, we talked about earlier,
There's
Benny,
Steve coming out of there.
There he is.
There we go.
Good sign.
That's what we wanted to see.
Anyways, what happens is you slide up the racetrack and you can hit somebody in their left rear as you slide up the racetrack with your right front. And that's almost what it looked like. That one car just turned dead sideways.
Well, what a great shot that is. Teammates walking away from a crash like that, arm in arm.
Wally, you said just seconds before that they got through turn 1, but they had to get through turns 2 and 3. Didn't think they'd have problems on the straightaway, though.
Well, but like I said, you come out of turn 1,
Yeah.
and if you slide up the racetrack, especially as green as it is, you never know what's going to happen.
All right, now that we know the drivers are okay, let's see if we can figure out what happened to cause this mess.
We see the Jimmy Johnson car, and there's Rusty Wallace. You see Park trying to squeeze up the outside.
I see he was trying to go on the outside of Rusty. Rusty moves up, they make contact, and Junior gets under the 1 car and just kind of bulldozed him into the wall and over.
Yeah, that's what actually turned him even more sideways. But I'll tell you what, that guardrail did the job.
Oh, it did a great
Took
job.
a lot of that absorbed a lot of impact right there.
Watch the yellow car back there just turn left.
And when you hit wet grass, it feels like you pick up 200 mile an hour.
But you can see how that barrier gave way when
Absolutely,
that car got into it.
that barrier absorbed a lot of energy, and I'll tell you what, that nice to see happen, because if that were a concrete wall, he would have taken a much harder hit.
One more shot. Rusty's right in the middle of the racetrack. Steve Park's going down the outside, but Rusty decides to come up to the outside line, not realizing that Steve was there. They made contact, and the ride is on.
Look at that barrier give. Thank goodness.
But again, that's one reason that Steve was able to walk away arm in arm with Dale Earnhardt Jr. because of that wall that did give.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And you know, the spotters on the roof here at Pocono are a long way away from where Rusty Wallace and Steve Park were racing over there. And it could be hard for that spotter to call Rusty clear. You know, maybe he did call Rusty clear. It's hard to, you know, but it's a difficult angle and a long way away from here at the start-finish line.
Yeah, that's an extremely tough call. You're right, Alan. This place, you have to look a mile away to see what's going on. So a lot of the driver has to really has to pay attention out there.
Under caution early, a savage crash involving Steve Park. Thankfully, both drivers, he and Dale Earnhardt Jr., are okay.